I will say this, and I think it'll surprise people. The fact that his bond...
Hold on. Sir.
What's
I have to stop you with the camera because I can see you. So do me a favor. Don't pull it out again.
And The View, you don't need to find Trumpers. You need to fire your race baiters.
Yeah.
You need to fire the two races. You've had people. You had a McCain on there. You've had people on there before, and you ran them off. Mm-hmm. So the racist ones who want to stick to this, Whoopi and Sonny, and was it Bette Midler? What's her name? Yeah, broke-ass Bette Midler.
Tyrus just did what no one else dared to do. He called out, "The View!" And yes, even Whoopi Goldberg wasn't safe. It was like watching a sumo wrestler crash a tea party and flip the whole table over. Things got wild, petty, and absolutely hilarious. You won't believe what came out of his mouth, or how Whoopi reacted. Grab your popcorn, because this one's pure chaos, served with a side of comedy. But seriously, did Tyrus just end The View with one brutal comment?
Just remember, too, the Iranians literally throw gay people off of buildings. They don't adhere to basic human rights.
Listen, here's the thing. Let's not do that, because if we start with that, we have been known in this country to tie gay folks to the car.
I'm sorry, but where the Iranian regime is today in 2025 is nothing compared to the United States.
Keep hanging black people. So
it is not even the same. I couldn't step during this.
Tyrus, the weird thing about The View was that Dylan Mulvaney was the most feminine person there.
Yes, he was. Somebody.
Before we dive deeper, smash that like button and hit subscribe. You seriously don't want to miss this. It all began like any other morning on The View. 5 women battling for volume supremacy, coffee cups trembling under pressure, and Whoopi Goldberg sitting there like she's seen every disaster twice. You could almost hear the sound of chaos stretching before the cameras even rolled. Then came Tyrus, not in person, but his words hit that studio harder than a truth bomb in a room full of echoes.
But it's only in America. Can a black person sit on a TV show getting paid millions and millions of dollars to have the floor and can say, it can interrupt people, because she interrupted her.
Yeah.
And if according to her, life was like in Iran, it was for black people, her interrupting and speaking in public would have led to a stoning.
Yeah.
Like the ignorance, you live in a country where you might feel a certain way, but here's the one thing about America that makes it different than anyone else. You have an opportunity, even as dumb as the she's.
He didn't raise his voice, didn't roll his eyes. He just did what Tyrus does best. Calmly tore down the circus with the same chill energy you'd use to order lunch. The man radiated pure, "I'm not impressed" vibes, and that's exactly what The View couldn't handle. Because when Tyrus talks, he doesn't chase the drama. He makes the drama chase him.
Hire them and bring people in. Maybe you could get McCain to come back. She was a Republican, but every show and every break, she was nearly in tears because she was being attacked. So the problem is that you have to go after the racist people. And if the CEO goes, you know what? I'm not going to allow a woman on my show or man that will go after white America and talk about them like dogs. That doesn't represent our ideals or values for anyone. And get rid of those people, and this will clear up real quick. So do you have to actually look in the mirror and clean up your own backyard and get the racist people out? Because that's who you allowed in. You allowed black racists on TV who could just go all day and say anything on.
And The View? Oh, they chased him like a bad idea that just wouldn't die. You see, the show has built an empire on interruptions, contradictions, and pretending they've uncovered the truth. Every weekday, it's less of a talk show and more of a verbal wrestling match, like WWE, with coffee and zero coherent thoughts. It's wild, chaotic, and totally predictable.
She has an opportunity tomorrow. They won't fire her over that.
No.
She'll have an opportunity tomorrow to come on and fix it. Will she? She won't. But that's the thing about this country. Black, white, gay, straight, short, tall. Everyone's going to get hit with something, but the beauty about this country is there's always an opportunity for you to better yourself. So shame on you, Whoopi. Play the black card somewhere else, because the don't work here in America.
You know the irony?
And then there's Whoopi, the grand referee of chaos. She's calm in the storm, until the storm says something she doesn't like. Then suddenly, the calm disappears, and we're in full-blown Category 5 judgment mode. She gives that look, you know, the one that says you're about to regret your entire opinion. It's intense, it's iconic, and it's pure Whoopi energy.
And I guess lo and behold, they forgot that there's a lot of people at home, white people at home during the day that are not watching your show anymore. So just clean it up.
Yeah, you know, Emily, could you imagine yourself on The View as like taking that job? Let's say they find something really ugly in your past, you get fired from Fox. That could happen, by the way. No. I never burned those photos. But I mean, could you do that?
I get very sensitive.
Tyrus saw right through it. He called it out with that cool, heavyweight smirk, like a man who already knows every move before it happens. He pointed out how The View can preach unity 1 second, then divide everyone faster than you can say commercial break. It was sharp, fearless, and exactly the kind of truth no one on that stage was ready to face.
Sure, all that, and the price of butter. Sonny gets the game ball. If it wasn't for her, asking that question, it might have been a...
The real beauty was in the delivery. No shouting, no theatrics, no over-the-top gestures, just dry humor and truth so sharp it could slice through steel. While The View's panel probably thought they were the guardians of modern wisdom, Tyrus treated their self-importance like a bad comedy sketch. He leaned back, metaphorically of course, and said, "Really? This is what passes for conversation now?" The irony was perfect. The View has tried to be the voice of reason for years, but every episode feels more like a group chat that escaped its phone. When Tyrus dissected that chaos, it wasn't just funny, it was brutally honest. He compared their energy to people who love debates only when everyone agrees with them. You know the type. They call it discussion until someone disagrees, then suddenly it's dangerous rhetoric. Tyrus didn't need to shout. His tone said it all, and that's exactly what makes him a threat to shows like The View. He doesn't play their game, doesn't need applause, and his truth is so dry it catches fire on its own. People joke that Tyrus did more damage with one calm sentence than an entire season of heated debates. Whoopi, of course, wasn't thrilled, but here's the thing. You can't guilt-trip someone who's completely immune to nonsense.
I love... Whoopi's right. I mean, it's been rough for us. I mean, you saw what just happened to me in the last segment. I'm trying to talk, and all the white people are like, it's Tyrus. I can make a phone call. You know? And it's...
How did that make you feel?
I felt very black.
Did you feel black?
Yeah,
it's worth Tyrus. Malice just started snapping his fingers for you.
Thank God black people don't do that in audiences.
Yes, yeah. No, we just talk the whole time and tell you how to do your show better.
Tyrus has that seasoned veteran energy. He's been around too long to take TV arguments seriously. It's like he's saying, "You can't cancel me. I already left the chat." And that drives Whoopi absolutely crazy. Her attitude through it all was classic. Part authority, part exhaustion. Like someone who's been explaining the same thing since 1997 and still can't believe people disagree. But what made it sting was that Tyrus wasn't disrespectful. He didn't yell, didn't insult. He just calmly exposed how ridiculous everything had become. He treated their self-seriousness like a balloon begging for a pin. And pop, it went. He pointed out how The View spends half an hour arguing about things that don't even matter, all while pretending it's world-changing television. It's like watching philosophers debate at brunch, except everyone's quoting Twitter instead of Aristotle. The more he spoke, the clearer it became. This wasn't about personal drama, it was about calling out the echo chamber disguised as empowerment, the performative outrage, and the moral grandstanding masquerading as conversation. Of course, Whoopi took it personally. How could she not? Because in that moment, Tyrus wasn't just talking about The View, he was describing its very soul. The unspoken rule that whoever talks loudest must be right. But Tyrus, calm as a monk in a thunderstorm, didn't take the bait. He just smiled, metaphorically, of course, and reminded everyone that true confidence doesn't need a co-host.
Oh, nothing really comes to mind. I was like, Shih-Ching, listen, they're bitter, they're angry, they're entitled. They also should be, this should have been a reset for everyone who pushed lies and misinformation for the last, they call them Hitler, they call these things, America rejected them. And instead of coming back and saying, we lied, they instead are now doubling down. So let her keep doing it, because if she keeps that up, we're going to keep getting the Senate and probably the House and the White House, because people see right through your lies. So keep doing what you're doing. Game ball to Sonny.
The internet exploded. Some said he went too far, while others called him brave for finally saying what everyone else was thinking. But the funniest part? The View didn't even realize they had just proved his point. The very next day, the panel couldn't resist responding. Suddenly, they were the victims of unfair criticism, twisting themselves into philosophical pretzels to defend their chaos as structure. It was like watching someone argue that their cat deserves a driver's license. Entertaining but completely absurd. Tyrus knew exactly what he was doing. He dropped his words like breadcrumbs and let their reactions become the punchlines. And while Whoopi tried to keep that air of superiority, the "we don't need to explain ourselves" attitude, the internet wasn't having it. Every clip, every side-eye, every contradiction got magnified 100 times over. That's the thing about The View. They love serving truth, but can't handle being served some. Tyrus reminded everyone that real confidence doesn't need applause or permission, it just exists. He exposed their version of tolerance, where tolerance means agreeing with the panel or getting exiled. He showed how they treat different opinions like they're contagious, and that's what made his calm roast hit harder than any scream ever could.
Next, Joy's going to say she's never heard of carbs. Seriously, her denial of knowing me is as believable as her red hair. But obsession? I mean, come on, Joy. Where would you even get that idea? Like Joy Behar's face, it's looking worse and worse by the day. More full of crap than Joy Behar after a night of scotch and Taco Bell. Her being named Joy is like me being named ugly. Joy wasn't there on the show. Apparently Mondays are her.
You could almost hear the collective gasp from the audience as it hit them. Maybe, just maybe, the Emperor wasn't wearing any clothes. Whoopi's reaction was exactly what you'd expect. The sigh, the head tilt, that classic, "here we go again" posture. But behind all that calm was clear frustration, because for once, someone had called them out and done it better than they could handle. The genius of Tyrus's roast was its restraint. He didn't try to steal the spotlight, he just let the truth do all the work. Every calm jab landed harder than a full-blown rant ever could. Suddenly, their confident monologues sounded like weak rebuttals, their laughter just a little too forced. Tyrus had done the unthinkable. He made The View look small simply by staying calm. With his signature low-key humor, he joked that The View's biggest achievement was making daytime TV feel like jury duty, a punishment disguised as conversation. The best part? He didn't even need to name names. Everyone already knew who he meant. That's when you know the truth hit deep, when denial isn't even an option. From there, the internet went wild, stitching clips of Whoopi's famous eye rolls right next to Tyrus's calm, collected smirk.
Now to some news. The feral monsters of The View say they've never heard of you-know-who. True, the show that makes mornings hell claim that my name doesn't ring a bell. It's time for...
Our view on The View. Ugh.
Yeah, the witch's coven finally shows me some lovin'. Yesterday on The View, yours truly was the subject of conversation. Apparently the broads have no idea who I am, or so they say. Hit it, Gladys.
The contrast was priceless. It was like watching a raging storm crash against an unbothered mountain. Even people who had never watched The View started tuning in just to see what all the chaos was about. That's when you know a roast really hit its mark. When it revives the very thing it mocks, just not in the way they wanted. By the end of the week, it wasn't even about Tyrus anymore. It was about what he had exposed. The fake outrage, the contradictions, the we speak for everyone arrogance that somehow always leaves out half the audience. He flipped the mirror right back at them, and the View hated what they saw. Whoopi tried to play it cool with her usual calm then chaotic rhythm, but her tone gave it away. Tyrus had struck a nerve. He reminded them that real conversation doesn't need cue cards or dramatic performances. Sometimes it just needs someone bold enough to say, "You sound ridiculous." The ultimate mic drop came when he summed up their entire vibe without even breaking a sweat, calling The View exactly what it is: a round table of contradictions fueled by caffeine and moral superiority. Whoopi's face said it all. She didn't need to respond, because the silence that followed was louder than any comeback. It was one of those rare moments when someone outside the bubble shattered the illusion, and everyone inside pretended not to notice the cracks.
I noticed Jesse was a 7.
Joy Behar calls her a 10. I mean, how dare she objectify a woman with a sexist rating system, but it's such a typical thing from a 1.5.
That's what makes Tyrus's calm so dangerous. It forces people to actually listen and face themselves. The View tried to keep pretending nothing happened, doing what they always do best: act unbothered while the world watches the curtain slip. But this time, the illusion didn't work. The magic was gone, and behind all that talk of empowerment and enlightenment was nothing but noise. Tyrus walked through their self-made storm completely untouched, proving that sometimes the strongest voice in the room is the one that refuses to shout. His roast wasn't about cruelty, it was about clarity, and deep down, Whoopi knew it. Somewhere out there, Tyrus had calmly dismantled her empire with the precision of a man who doesn't even break a sweat. That's what made it the perfect ending. No noise, no applause, just silence, the kind that screams victory. In the grand comedy of modern talk shows, sometimes the funniest line is the one that leaves everyone speechless. And Tyrus didn't have to say much. He just let the truth sit there smirking, while the world watched the chaos he left behind.
It doesn't matter whether you're a comedian or just a regular old person who goes about their day. You have every right. It's your birthright as an American. If you're not happy with what's going on, you're allowed to say it. If you don't like how things are going, you're allowed to say it. It is your birthright. That's part of what makes you an American. It's part of what makes us different than everybody else. And we acknowledged all of those Republicans who recognized that it's not a right or left.
They just couldn't let it go. The View always has to have the last word, even when it's the wrong one. So, right on cue, the next episode opened with that fake calm they always put on before the meltdown begins. You know the look: mugs lifted, smiles stretched tight, everyone pretending they didn't spend the whole night doom-scrolling through Tyrus's comments. Whoopi started with that long dramatic pause she uses when she's about to educate someone. Except nobody asked for a lesson. They threw around vague phrases like "certain commentators" and "some people out there," as if the audience didn't already know exactly who had shaken their precious calm. That's when you know Tyrus hit deep, when a whole panel starts speaking in code. Meanwhile, Tyrus was probably somewhere sipping coffee, completely unaware of the storm brewing on daytime TV. The more they tried to act above it all, the funnier it got. The harder they pushed to look unbothered, the more obvious it became that they were anything but. The View was practically writing its own parody. 5 people passionately insisting they don't care while spending 10 whole minutes proving they do.
Here's Joy Behar talking about refusing to share a kidney.
I find it friends bizarre. With a Trump supporter. I won't give them a kidney, but I could be friends with them.
Hey, Joy, it's a kidney, not a pizza. Of course, she's kidding at first, but then she goes on to explain the moral foundation for her resentment, and it's the same one that drives all deadly ideology.
Tyrus would have loved it, not because it proved him right, but because it showed his entire point in real time. The View just can't let things go. It feeds on conflict the way toddlers crave attention, loud, messy, and impossible to ignore. You could tell Whoopi wanted to fire back with one of her classic, "I've seen it all" speeches, but even she looked tired this time. Maybe she finally realized that trying to outsmart a man who fights with humor instead of anger is a losing game. That's when it clicked for everyone watching. Tyrus didn't destroy the View by attacking it. He exposed it by staying calm. By week's end, they tried to act like the whole thing was beneath them, but you can't unring a bell, and you can't unhear the truth once it's spoken. Every time they brought up respectful dialogue, all anyone could think about was Tyrus's calm roast, echoing in the background. Their biggest mistake wasn't responding, it was proving his point while doing it. They became the punchline of a joke they didn't even understand. And Tyrus? Still calm, still collected, still undefeated in the art of the effortless takedown. Because sometimes the loudest sound you can make is silence that everyone hears.